already. That's all I can say. What a morning it's been already. Welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. My name is Glenn Lundy. Super excited to be here with you today. I've been laughing all morning because we've been doing some things. I can't even explain. We're talking about hanging from coconut trees and making sure people have the right feet. Like, it's been a really interesting conversation this morning, and you're probably like, what the heck are you talking about, Glenn? And that's okay, but check it out. Here's how my day started, right? Got up first thing in the morning, no snooze button, no phone, first thing in the AM, walked downstairs into my beautiful basement, head into my office, and grab my hashtag Rise and Grind planner, right? The Rise and Grind planner, it's one just like this. Mine's at the house, but it's one just like this. And what's really cool about the hashtag Rise and Grind planner is at the top of every single day, there is a quote that is actually submitted by a Rise and Grind member. I love it because every year we get to publish 330, however many weekdays there are, 330 different members of the Rise and Grind group. We get to publish their favorite quotes. So today's favorite quote was brought to you by Carol Feely. Carol Feely out of California. And her favorite quote is this: decide to say yes to you. Decide to say yes to you. And man, I'm telling you, these quotes always come at the exact right time. So as I was walking into the basement this morning, after yesterday we celebrated our 100th episode of Breakfast with Champions, and that was powerful and impactful, and the messages I received, and I spent some time with my kids and with my wife. And then this morning I read that, I'm like, decide to say yes to you. And I'm like, yeah. Carol's on to something. Carol's on to something. We all need to decide to say yes to ourselves. What do you want your life to look like? Not somebody else's life. What do you want to do? What's your passion? What's your fire? And how can you lean into that? I've watched Carol Feely transform. She's been part of Rise and Grind the last 2 years, I think it is. Yeah, 2 years. And my goodness, she decided to say yes to her. And now she's speaking on stages. She's keynoting all over the place. Like, she's lost a bunch of weight. She's doing 75 hard. Like, Carol is crushing the game because she decided to say yes to Carol. And I challenge you to do the same. Our guest, Chelsea Burnett, is the same way. She is in a world that very few people see, very few people choose, and I know very few women. It's more of a male-dominated world that she's in, but she's like, you know what? I'm going to say yes to me. And so I'm going to introduce you to her here in just a second. She is a storm chaser out of Texas, and she's absolutely fire. So let's dive in today's episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? You see, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.
Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Friday. That's right, Friday, April 30th, 2021. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Friday, April 30th, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Man, we have a really big day lined up for you today. We've got Chelsea Burnett, storm chaser out of Texas. She's going to spend some time with me right here on hashtag Rise and Grind. And then afterwards, she's going to hang out with me in Breakfast with Champions for Q&A and for everybody to get to an opportunity to know her better as well. So super excited about that. Then we are going to follow that with Natasha Grano. She is a global thought leader, Instagram, social media influencer, 10 million followers around the world. And she has a powerful story of going from homeless to where she's at now. So she'll be joining us on Breakfast with Champions as well. And then after that, Ben Newman, the Alabama performance coach, is going to be joining us on Breakfast with Champions as well. And all of this is happening before 8 a.m. Eastern time. Can you believe that? All of this is going to happen between 8 a.m. Eastern time. Man, it truly is amazing. To me, I think it's amazing what's possible, right? The amazing, it's like things that you can fit in a day. In one day, if you really maximize the minutes, if you really consider every minute an investment, right? Like, I want you to think about this for just a second this morning, all right? Think about this. Everything in your life fits in 24 hours. You realize that? Like everything, like work, family, friends, your leisure time, television, your social media, your faith, how you spend time in spirituality, your fitness, your bills, your investments, your conversations, your reading, your writing, your running, your walking, your sleeping, all of it. Your entire life fits into the span of 24 hours every single day. And what's crazy is there is no living 2 days at a time. You don't get to do that. There is no living 1 week at a time. Like, you don't get to do that. Life does not come together that way. No, you have today. That's what you get. 24 hours. And so today I want to make sure we make the absolute most of it. And a great way to make sure we do that is to start off with a little dancing. Y'all ready? Let's do some dancing this morning. Come on now. This is the part of the show where you got to get that body in motion. See, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. So let's get rocking and rolling. All right, let's see if Chelsea's dancing. Chelsea's dancing? Yeah. Chelsea's already dancing this morning over there in Texas. I love it. This is going to be a fun interview with Miss Chelsea Burnett. I cannot wait. All right? So get that object in motion. Get that body in motion. Do some dancing this morning. All right? Now, for those of you that know and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where we need you to hit that share button. That's right. We need you to hit that share button. Because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact in their life. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. If you're over on Clubhouse, hit the plus sign. Invite some friends in. All right? This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Look at Chelsea. She's ready. This is also the part of the show where I say good morning to you, and you say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live, you're watching on replay, maybe you're watching on YouTube, maybe you're listening to the podcast. However you're connecting with us, say what's up. I'll say what's up back. My Facebook stream is freezing. I'm not seeing all of you guys' comments, but I do see Michael Guthrie is here this morning. I want to say good morning to him. I also see Michelle Berker is here, Krista Bug. What's up, Vicky Everett? Wow, that's all it's showing me. I see all of the people, but it will not show me the comments. Facebook is not really our friend, just so you guys know. We do a show here every day, but they don't really like us a lot of the time. So I can't say good morning to you if I don't see you, but I can go over here to Clubhouse I can see some people over on Clubhouse, and I can say good morning to you. So good morning, Tamara. What's up, Naida? Great to see you this morning. Hello, Miss Julie Hazel. Always a pleasure to see you. What's up, Molly Dare? I see Scott is with us this morning. I see Johnny is with us this morning. What's up, Mark and Chris and Svetlana? Great to see you. What's up, Roy? How you doing? Sharon and Patricia. I see Mike and Malcolm. Camilla's over here. I see Tom and Tarek and Tiru and Claudette and Jonathan and Nathaniel. Nathaniel Brett. Great to see you, sir. I see Dahlia here. My man Justin is in the building. What's up, Derek Bixler? Great to see you as well. I also see Jim and Evan and Sheila and Frederica and David and Marlon and Packed House over there. Packed House over there in Clubhouse, which I love. I also see Donata. Donata. That's a new one. That's a new one for me. I have not seen that name. Donata Sungalaite. Hi, Donata. I'm sorry if I messed up your last name. Here, just get back to the name. We'll just dance. Anytime you mess up, you just dance. Right, Chelsea? Just like, there we go. There it is. Chelsea's rocking and rolling. I stinking love it. Listen, folks. I woke up this morning. There were quite a few people that had signed up for Rise and Grind Elite. Our Rise and Grind Elite group is really starting to pop. Starting to get a lot of people in there. Dude, if you want to be a part of that, you got to come join us. As an elite member, you get access to Rise and Grind University, which is tons of courses, right? Courses on real estate, courses on how to build a podcast. Like, it's a bunch of my friends came together and created courses for you. So you get Rise and Grind University. You get to hang out with me and my friends 2 hours a week. We get on like a live Zoom call 2 hours a week to help you in all the different main areas of your life, right? We get to do that. It's a bunch of like-minded individuals. It's just really, really cool. We have special guests that come in about once a month or so. So come grow with me. Go to riseandgrindelite.com, riseandgrindelite.com, and you can become a member of our elite mastermind, and I would absolutely love to help you. All right, let's dive in. Let's make the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Hop on in here, please. Come on, come join us. Hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. Are you ready? Are you there? Are you there? Are you engaged? I do know the answer of how we're going to change the way you start today.
Oh my, what an incredible morning this is going to be. I can't wait.
Let's go. Chelsea, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
I am so glad you're here. Are you unmuted over on the other side? Let's have you unmute over on Clubhouse so they can hear you over there too.
I'm muted on that side.
Unmuted on that side. I love it. So, lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. Like, for most people, these are words that have some type of negative association. Not for you, though. You love those things, right? Like, what's up with that, Chelsea? Tell me a little bit about what you got going on.
Oh, goodness. The long and short of it is I am an Oklahoma native. So for everyone who's familiar with the Southern Plains, that is central to the tornado alley here in the United States. So growing up with severe weather was just normal for me. And I developed a passion for it at a very early age. In fact, my mother and I were just having this conversation the other day. She said, Chelsea, you were watching these storms out the door, out the window when you were a toddler. And also I would get in trouble at night because I would hear the storms and I would sneak up and I would peek out the blinds and watch the storms and get told to go back to bed. So it's always been engraved in me. And it was something that I tried to pursue educationally and professionally. I did attend the University of Oklahoma. Go Sooners.
All right.
Yeah. So the math was crazy. I dropped out and now I just chase the weather and I learn along the way.
Yeah, you just chase, I just chase the weather. That's all.
I just chase them.
I just chase the weather and learn along the way. So so you were watching the storms at an early age. Any idea like where the fascination came from? Like what is the trigger about the storms? Why so fascinating?
Every single storm is different. No two storms are the same. Just the raw power of nature, I think, is what is fascinating because, most people, they run from it, they hide from it, they sign up for all these warnings on their phones to be told to get inside and shelter in place. And to me, I feel like doing the opposite. I want to see it and I want to feel it and experience it. So this week marked number 29 on my tornado count on Tuesday, and it never gets old.
Wow, I was actually about to ask that. That was my next question, as I was curious how many tornadoes you've actually witnessed. So everybody, I shouldn't say everybody. You, the listener that's listening and watching in today, you heard it here first. Ignore all the alerts, ignore all the warnings. You're not supposed. Don't go hide from these things. Run out there and witness them. Is that what you're telling us?
Not exactly, but yeah, got to throw that out there.
For you, that's the way, though. That's the path,
Oh, yes.
right? And
That is the path.
that is the path for you. And I know you've probably you talked about this morning how even with today's episode of Rise and Grind, you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, your time over there in Texas, and you talked about how you put in a lot of preparation last night so that you could be ready for this morning. And you're very much a preparer, right? So I'm guessing this is why it's safe for you to go out and chase storms, whereas we should probably lock down every once in a while when we get the alerts. Is that a safe assumption?
That's a very safe assumption. It is something that we're planning, on days in advance. So absolutely.
Yeah. So you're looking at all the things. You're like, boom. So there's a chance there might be. Then you guys head out hunting and hoping, and you've seen 29 of these things. So what's the biggest tornado you've ever witnessed straight up?
That's going to be the EF4 that hit Chapman, Kansas back on May 25th, 2016. So we're coming up on that 5-year anniversary of that tornado. Watched it from birth until end. It was just the most epic thing in my life ever.
So I wonder, so if you're out there, so are you chasing that again? Is it like this drug, right? Like the first time you get the hit, you're like, oh, I want more of that, but then it has to get bigger and better or what? So have you been chasing that feeling again since 5 years ago?
Yes. And it's just the hunt. It's the narrowing down your target and just hoping it verifies. And I do this with a team of people. I don't go out by myself. There's just too many things to do. So not only am I being there for myself, I'm experiencing this with another crowd of people who feel the exact same way as I do. So it's just epicness all the way around.
Straight up epicness all the way around. I love that. Now with tornadoes and storms, there's hail and stuff too, right? Have you seen some, what's the biggest hailstone you've seen?
I would probably say last year near Quanah, Texas, we encountered a severe warm thunderstorm, and we were far enough away from it that we shouldn't have been pelted by the hail that we were, but it was probably between golf ball and baseball size hail. It did end up cracking the windshield. It did end up putting some new dents in the vehicle. I was more scared of that hail than I have of any other tornado I've ever seen, which is weird to some people, right? But it's scary.
Well, yeah, when baseballs are falling out of the sky, I would say that's terrifying would be the way that I would describe that. And most of us people my age, we've seen the movie Twister, right? So you're real life Twister lady, right? That's the world you live in.
That's the world I live in. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really, 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 really cool. So we're having a lot of fun. I do want to get a little bit serious, though. You are going to schools. You are doing keynotes. Your fascination for storms is being used to impact others. So how are you doing that? How are you taking this fascination you've had since you were a child and using it to make an impact in other people's lives?
Man, I discovered a need for general severe weather awareness here in North Texas. About 3 or 4 years ago, the idea came to mind, just realizing how many people are moving here to the area who aren't even from the Southern Plains, who aren't even from this particular part of the U.S., and who have absolutely no idea what a spring and a fall can be like here in North Texas. So it was just something that I said, well, I like weather. I like to talk about it. Why not take it a step further and bring my expertise so far, seeing 29 tornadoes and taking that footage and video, making it educational yet entertaining. So I've been doing that for the last 3 years, and it's been amazing so far.
And so obviously we got some weather awareness, but is there like what kind of lessons? You say you make it entertaining, it's educational. What kind of lessons are you instilling in these young children as you go out there? Because you do like keynotes too, right? Like where you do.
Yes.
Yeah. So what kind of lessons are people taking away from your experiences in the storms?
A lot of times I do dive a little bit deeper from a grown-up perspective.
Yeah.
I used to be in the corporate world. I used to be in corporate America. I was very unhappy. It took a divorce for the lights to finally pop on and for me to just take that additional chance and go after what I've always wanted to do my entire life, which is to deal with weather. And from a kid's perspective, when I do give those presentations at schools, I have a speech impediment. It hasn't come out terribly here, but I do have a stutter. And I think having those kids witness someone who used to be picked on, who used to be made fun of, and who had a speech impediment grow up and be able to do the kinds of things that I'm doing, those are the two lessons that I build into my presentations for kids and adults.
So now we're getting to the meat and potatoes a little bit here. So here you are, you're a young kid, you're fascinated by storms of all things, right? You've got a little bit of a stutter when you're a kid, and we all know that kids are not nice to other kids. And so talk us through that real quick. Your experience when you were young, liking things that other kids don't like, and having that stutter. How did you get through that, and how are you now able to help other kids with your story?
Wow, that is deep. Let me try to condense that real quick.
Sure.
So yes, I grew up, I was picked on, I was made fun of. I was your poster child for a nerd. I was a teacher's pet. I loved science. I loved being in school. So I loved answering all the questions. Of course, that makes you a really big target for the kids who don't really appreciate that. And then they picked up on the stutter, and it was just this whole thing all the way through the end of middle school. And throughout high school, I still stayed on track. I said, you know what? I want to be a meteorologist. I want to chase storms. So I just tried to put my head down and focus on a lot of that. And even through adulthood, my stutter still stuck with me because I feel like I was living this life that I wanted to seek approval from and make everybody else happy for me. Like, oh, you got a degree. Oh, you got this really great job at a corporate office, a cubicle job, a nice salary 9 to 5. And I still wasn't happy with it at all. And then I got married, I had a child, and then we ended up getting a divorce. And that was just kind of that, it just clicked. And I just thought, well, if I'm starting over here, I might as well start everywhere else in my life. So I ditched the corporate America job. I don't recommend that, especially when you're a single mom, but I got through it. So,
Right.
yeah, now I've created this work experience where I'm back to a salary position, but I work remotely. Even before COVID, I was working from home, which allowed me the flexibility to work from the road and to chase storms when I didn't have my son. So being able to live life according to my terms made me more comfortable and happy. And now my stutter is hardly a problem. It's really only a problem if I get nervous or I get stuck on a thought or, trying to get through certain words that trigger. So it's been incredible.
Yeah, that's fascinating, right? That's fascinating. When you stepped into you, right? Decide to say yes to you. When you decided to say yes to you, the stutter kind of worked its way out.
It did.
That's really cool, Chelsea. That is really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I know that the reliving some of that stuff can be a tough season. So that's fascinating, and it looks really dangerous, like super dangerous. What you do, right? And here you are a mom, and you've got you got the kids to take care of. It was dangerous for you to leave your corporate job when you had responsibilities to take care of, and and you've leaned into that. So it looks really dangerous on the outside. How dangerous is it really? Like, if you know and you're educated, how dangerous is it really? And how do you overcome fear to be able to step into dangerous situations, whereas most people go running the other way?
I just focus on what can be. When I ditched the corporate America job, I just said, I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to make this work. And it took about 2 or 3 years of struggle. I'm still struggling in some ways, but nowhere near where I was back then. And with the dangerous aspect of storm chasing, I mentioned I chase with other people. So I'm not having to keep my eyes on the road, but also watch radar, but also watch the sky, and also look at forecast discussions, and also look at chats to see what other storm chasers are saying. So it's a partnership. And when you find that particular tribe within the weather community, to help you achieve your goals, and to, we all have the same goal, and we all want to get out there and capture the storm and witness it. It's a great, it's a great bond you have with those people. And so it definitely takes a supportive tribe. My family, they're totally used to it now. My dad, just to kind of help him out, I share my location with him at all times. So like this week, we were chasing out in Northwest Texas, and he's like, "Oh, I see your dot. You're over here." Okay.
Right.
So it helps him feel a little bit better as a parent about what I do.
Having that location, at least knowing where you are,
Yep.
to get a little bit better idea. Well, I love that. And I just picture you as a part of like this cool gang of people that are out there, doing all this stuff, and looking at the radar. Oh, it's over here. It's to our left, it's to our right. And hailstones are flying at you, and the storm's all crazy. I've seen some of your videos on YouTube too, which is it's cool. It's really fun. It's really, really fun, Chelsea. I love that. I love that you are going against the grain and running towards the storms. I think that's powerful. There's a friend of mine named Rory Vaden. He wrote a book called Take the Stairs, and in that book he talks about the plains of North Dakota and how there's a mountain ridge that matches these plains, and it's the only place in the United States where the buffaloes and the cows roam wildly together in the same place. And when they see a storm coming, the cows run from the storm. They run away from the storm, and ultimately the storm catches up with them, and they keep moving in the same direction as the storm, and they stay in it way longer, right? Whereas the buffaloes go head on into the storm. They charge the storm. That way, yes, they take the brunt of it, but they get through it a lot faster. And so I think that there's a lot to be learned from you and your ability and gift to charge the storm, right? To charge the storm and experience it and choose you. Awesome. How can people, I've got one more big question for you, but before I do that question, how can people maybe learn more or connect with you if somebody needs you to keynote or to speak or wants you in the schools? What's the best way to do that?
Absolutely. So I'm a part of a team called Texas Storm Chasers. Yes, there's 6 of us who are crazy enough to do this. I've been doing it for the last 10 years, almost 11 years now, actually 12 years. Wow, 2009. Oh my goodness, that's getting farther and farther away. So TexasStormChasers.com, simple as that. Our website, we do have a speaking, if you do TexasStormChasers.com /speaking -engagements. That's how you can get to our contact page for that. We are on most of the social media accounts with our content. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We just started that probably 2 months ago. We're also on YouTube, as you mentioned.
Dancing. You guys are dancing with tornadoes in the background over there.
Right. With the music. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, great. Well, you guys make sure you connect with Chelsea. And Chelsea, something I like to do on this show, every time I have a guest on the show, I like to put them on top of a mountain. All right? So I just want you to imagine you are on top of a mountain, and all of civilization is at the base of the mountain, and they're cheering for you. They're going, Chelsea, 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 right? It started as a slow clap. It was like a slow clap, and then they started getting faster. Yeah, Chelsea, woo, right? And they're cheering for you. And somebody walks over, and they hand you a microphone, and they say, Chelsea, you have 2 minutes 2 minutes to drop something on all of civilization, practical application information, something they can put into they can apply in their life today, this week, this month, this year, what are you going to tell them?
Don't wait. Don't wait like I did. Don't wait until you've started a family and you have all these other things that are going for you before you do you, before you say yes to you, as the theme of this thing is. And it took someone else pushing me out the door, so to speak, before I finally realized that it was a brand new opportunity each and every day. Like you said, every 24 hours, it's a brand new opportunity. So don't wait. If you feel that tingle, if you hear that soft whisper in the back of your mind saying, do this, you were meant for this, go for it. Don't wait.
I love that, Chelsea. I absolutely love that. Don't wait. If you feel that tingle, you hear that whisper, go for it. You got the goods. You got the goods. You can do it, right? You can do it. Chelsea,
Absolutely.
You're so awesome. And I have
Thank you.
had so much fun with you here on Rise and Grind. Time flies when we're having a blast here. So we're going to shut down Rise and Grind, this episode of Rise and Grind. We are going to go hang out over in Clubhouse, though, and let some folks chat with you, if that's okay. You okay with that?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Folks, that is the one and only Chelsea Burnett. Do me a huge favor. Make sure you connect with her on social and give her the Rise and Grind welcome, which those of you that don't know, the Rise and Grind welcome is you blow Chelsea up all day in all of her different socials. You send her all kinds of messages. You tell her about the impact she made in your life this morning. And then she calls me later and says, Glenn, tell them to stop. I cannot get anything done today. All right. That's what a Rise and Grind welcome really looks like. So blow Chelsea up today. We appreciate you, Chelsea, so very, very much. I hope you enjoyed this week's episodes of #Rise and Grind. Our series was just off the top, right? Just each day, whatever's kind of going on that day, which is the way I used to run this show. For the first 400 episodes, it was always off the top. And then we started doing a weekly series, right? A weekly series, giving it a little more structure. And I got to tell you, this last week has been really fun. It's been fascinating, right? Great conversations. It's amazing how when you allow the universe and you allow God to guide your steps, he always makes sure you're in the exact right place at the exact right time. Today's quote, decide to say yes to you, was put in this planner back in October of last year on this specific day, specifically so it could match up with Chelsea's message that she had for us from the mountaintop. You see how that works, folks? You see how that works? Absolutely incredible. So listen, my friends, you all are children of God. I believe that. My brothers and my sisters, right? My brothers and my sisters, children of God. And so I want you to know that we love you. I love you. Chelsea loves you, right? Brothers and sisters, we love you. And so go out there and become the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Keep evolving, lean in, say yes to you, and have an absolutely fabulous, incredible weekend. And then come back here again Monday morning. We're going to do this all over again on #Rise and Grind. All right, we'll see ya.